Amber Cushman,
Yes.
you are suing the defendants Hector Danye and Ashley Heffley.
Yes, Your Honor.
For $1,220, you say they owe you the cost of a trip that you booked, and you say the defendants did not go on, but you paid for regardless.
Yes.
Okay. Give me some background. How do you know the defendants, Ms. Cushman?
I have known Hector for several years, between 3 and 4 years. He was a former employee of mine.
What do you do?
I worked in childcare. I own my own childcare, and he was an employee and then later became an assistant director.
Are the two of you married?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so give me some background on your relationship with the plaintiff.
Yes, Amber was my employer at the daycare center we worked at. Worked for her for about 3.5, 4 years. Great
you
time.
were friends outside of work?
Yes, we were. Yes.
And you were friends with Ms. Cushman as well?
For the past, since I've known my husband, Hector, yes.
Okay, and before this incident, all three of you had a good relationship?
I say so,
Yes.
Okay. I understand that you booked a trip several years ago. Why don't you tell me what happened?
I booked a package trip that was 4 independent packages, and I wanted to take a family vacation, and then as I was planning the trip, I realized that it would be easier to do adults only with this particular trip.
What kind of trip was it?
It was 7 days, 6 nights in Florida. You would spend a few days in Fort Lauderdale, a trip to the Bahamas on a cruise ship and back, and then another few nights in Orlando.
Okay, and you all live in Nebraska?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your idea was to find people who would go on the trip with you?
Yes.
When did you book the 4 packages?
Originally, I would say they were booked in 2014.
And you paid for those packages back then?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay for the packages?
Each package was, I believe, $635.
So last year, a year later, you have a conversation with the defendants about this trip. What was the conversation?
Yes, I had already found 2 other couples to take the other 2 packages, so we were just looking for the 4th couple to be filled. And all of us knew each other that were going, so we were trying to find someone that would, enjoy the company. There was no strangers. And I thought of Hector and Ashley. They were recently married, and I thought they would enjoy going on a trip with us.
When she approached you, who did she speak to? Which one of you did she speak to first about this trip?
She approached me and asked us if we were interested in going on a trip with her on a cruise. To me, that sounded great. Who wouldn't want to go on a cruise? So I told her, let's figure out exactly what it takes to get there, what the trip ideas were, what the details behind everything.
What month was that when she approached you?
That was in late January of this year.
Late January of this year?
Yes.
Do you agree with that? That's when you had a conversation with them?
No, I disagree with that. I have the text message showing that I originally contacted him in mid-December.
When did they give you confirmation that they said they would go on the trip?
Within days of the original contact in December.
Okay, and so what did you do as a result of them telling you they would go on this trip?
I let the other group members know, and then in January, we proceeded to book the date.
Book the dates for the trip, and what about purchase airline tickets?
Yes, that came a little bit later.
Now, when you purchased the airline tickets, did you get money from them to purchase the tickets?
No, I did not ask them for the money prior to booking.
Why is that?
We were under the assumption that they would use their income taxes to pay me in full for the whole trip.
You know that never happens, right?
I have never had a reason to distrust them before this point.
Coming up on Judge Faith, a question is raised about the tickets purchased for the trip.
Did you know that she'd already purchased the airline tickets?
At that moment, we knew that she had purchased them.
Why do you think you're not responsible for the airline tickets if they're non-refundable? When did they tell you they weren't going?
About 25 days before we were scheduled to fly out.
Okay, so what happened? Why did you change your mind?
So I contacted her and let her know that, unfortunately, we weren't going to be able to go. We had some financial issues pop up on us.
When was that? When did you contact her?
May
Because the trip
2nd.
is scheduled for March 31st?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you contact her on what day to say,
It was
I can't go?
March 2nd, I contacted her, Your
Did you
Honor.
know that she'd already purchased the airline tickets?
At that moment, we knew that she had purchased them, but unfortunately, we did not know that there were other things attached to that they were non-refundable and non-transferable.
Most airline tickets are non-refundable. Sometimes you can pay a penalty and use the ticket on another date, but that didn't happen in this case, I'm assuming.
No, ma'am. And I did immediately upon them saying that they wouldn't be able to go acknowledge the fact that all of this was non-refundable.
But did you tell them that in advance?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, every paperwork that I got, I forwarded to them via email, so every piece of information I received, they also received.
So what about the airline tickets? You know that she purchased the airline tickets because you said you weren't going to go, and you're telling me within 30 days of the trip, you tell her, I can't afford to take this trip. So Why do you think you're not responsible for the airline tickets if they're non-refundable?
We never were told beforehand that nothing would be non-refundable, nothing was transferable until after the fact. After May 2nd, that's when she messaged us saying that nothing was
March 2nd,
transferable
you mean?
yeah, sorry, I'm sorry, March 2nd. Nothing was transferable or refundable.
So you're saying you didn't read the emails that she said she sent to you about them being the airline tickets being non-refundable?
We did read them. There was nothing on there saying that they were non-refundable.
Let me see that.
I apologize. I do not have the original email printed with me.
Well, you don't have to have the original, but anything that shows that you told them the ticket was non-refundable.
Yes, on the notes, I believe it does say that it is non-refundable.
Let me see proof of that.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you.
It says it's in right here.
Okay. Well, it doesn't exactly say that, actually. It states that changes or cancellations to the tickets must be made prior to the departure of the flight. So since then, I'm assuming that the three of you are not friends anymore
No.
because of this trip?
Correct.
Did you go on the trip?
Yes,
With
ma'am.
your other friends?
Yes, ma'am.
So it was 3 couples instead of 4?
Yes, ma'am.
How did the trip go?
The trip was very pleasant. We had a good time.
The real issue in this case is a legal issue called detrimental reliance. And what that means is when someone relies on a promise that you make to them and they do something in furtherance of the promise that you've made to them to their detriment. And that's what happened in this case. She relied on your word that you would take the trip and she purchased the airline tickets and you canceled not even 30 days before. So you're absolutely responsible for the airline tickets. For the trip itself, the remainder of your lawsuit, here's my issue with that. You purchased this trip regardless of the defendant's promise to you that they were going to take the trip. This is a trip you purchased in 2014.
Yes,
So you'd already made that expense before you ever had a discussion with the defendants about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So what they're responsible for in this case are the airline tickets in the amount of $685.20. So my judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $685.